we're creating a making of film. Yesterday I was told I needed to create footage or produce footage for theater production that I served as the videographer for, that was put on by the Moscow Arts Theater in Russia. I finally got to Moscow. I was working 14 hours a day. Well, there were a number of effects that we used in the production, but one of them I'm particularly proud of is the interactive water, which is, it's a camera and a projector at pretty much the same place, and a person could walk through the area that is being projected onto, and the camera recognizes where that person is, or the subject, and the projector projects a pool of water onto the area, and rippling coming from exactly where that person is walking. So it makes the stage look like a shallow lake of sorts, and it was definitely helpful in the themes and the atmosphere of the production. Well, the stage was here, and the water would be projected onto it, and when there would be a person walking through, it would show at their feet. It was interactive, and at their feet there would be ripples coming from exactly where they step. The production itself really heavily stressed the intersection of cinema and theater, and this frame that was being projected from the back of the theater at the front, at the area where it was going on, this frame here, and it made some scenes look as if they were being watched through a TV or through a cinema, and then others were going on up here, and they would be in reality or in the play, and it was very interesting to watch the interactions of these two different areas. And you can't see it at this point, but there was also two areas off to the side where the actors would walk off stage, and they would sit there and they would also watch, so they would become spectators. So it was also a kind of interaction between reality and the play. The play takes place in Siberia during World War II, and it's actually about a group of young soldiers who have been sent there, and they're in basic training. Each character of the play kind of has their own biography, and at one point in the first act, there's a scene where each one walks up to the front of the stage, presents their story, and then walks back to the group of soldiers. And now one story that was particularly striking was there was a pair of twins, and these twins are part of the group, and they at one point receive a letter from their mother who lives in a village not far away, and she says she requests them to come to the village for a few days just to visit, get some food for their friends, and well, just to see her really. And so they run off to the village, and at this point is exactly the point where it becomes very, very severe. Desertion becomes very, very severe. And so just when the two twins come back from their stay at their mother's, they are accosted by their superior officers and then shot as a demonstration to other potential deserters. And then throughout the rest of the play, these two twins show up in the background. They're projected as these two astronauts of sorts that are floating around in space, and it kind of symbolizes that they don't move. It kind of symbolizes that they're dead. Something that was actually really interesting that we did with our the camera I was testing at CCTV. By the way, it was an infrared camera, a thermal camera, so it only looked at the heat of someone. So we really only used it to show someone's location on the stage. So the projector, I mentioned how the projector projects a pool of water onto the stage. It's actually projecting it right now. It projects it throughout the whole play. It's just that the lights are kind of blotting it out. So what we were able to do is we could show the interaction between these two kind of layers of set design. So we were able to project the pool of water onto some certain parts of the stage and keep the other parts looking as they do now. Which was interesting, particularly in one scene when one of the soldiers is being judged or is put on trial by his superior officers, and the pool of water is being projected only onto him in one corner of the stage, and then the rest is this blinding kind of light. Now, something very interesting that we used was the infrared feature of the camera. So you can't see it now, but this box here, that I talked about earlier, is also it has an infrared lamp, so it's constantly projecting, infrared light onto the stage. And this was used particularly at one point during the very climax of the play, when these two twins their mother is speaking to them in the letter, and so the whole group is asleep and everything's gone dark, but the infrared lamp is projecting onto the whole stage, and the woman playing their mother is standing right here in front of it. So no one in the audience can actually see anything, but they can see what's on the projection, which is actually the woman standing there, center stage. But it's shown in the cinema. So this was an addition to the previous effects that allowed us to kind of very heavily stress the difference and kind of meld the cinema and the play and kind of transcend the different layers of reality. Another thing that's kind of similar that we used was, at one point, the two of the soldiers would be standing here, sitting actually, and they would be sitting on the pool of water, and on the cinematic frame, there was a projection of the very same people sitting in the very same position, but it wasn't actually the camera filming them as they were sitting there. It was actually a previous recording, and it was very interesting to watch because you could basically not tell the difference. And it was actually the setting was very desolate. This pool of water kind of at that point created the feeling that they were sitting on the moon, kind of on the lunar plane, which kind of added to the idea of the astronauts that later floated up when they were shot. It kind of the idea of the two different times being kind of clashed together. The idea of the two different times being clashed together was kind of an addition to the transcending of different realities. So it kind of melds it all together, and it kind of shows that this thing that's happening here is eternal. The war, the struggle. It happens all throughout humanity. So there's no real time for what's going on in this play. It's going on constantly. It